What's good, everybody? What's good, Dolphins Nation, or whatever fan you are? We're here live at the Basement Sports Network. With me, I got JMV, I got Alex with me, I got 416J, and I got the man himself who made a little surprise appearance. Juan is back in the
Hey,
building. What's going on, fellas? How
We're
we
fucking
feeling?
lit, bro. We're 3-0. 3-0 just
That,
beat
I
Buffalo.
was
I
I
don't
was
know
gonna
what
say
makes
this is
more.
It's crazy. I think collectively we all said if we start 2-2 in the first four games, we're happy, and
yo
there's a possibility at 4-0. Crazy.
wow.
I'm gassed, bro. Juan's defending two on Twitter. It's a great place to be. I'm
It is. It
electric
is.
right now.
That's what I'm saying, man. Once you see Juan was able to turn things around, it's like, all right, you know what? Maybe Dolphins Twitter is coming together in the right direction. So listen, Spygate 2.0, that's a good one by Adam, man. I mean, we're definitely gonna get into that. But first, I want to talk about this past game, this past Sunday. Now that a couple days have passed in, they settled in. Now we know we're 3-0. It was a stressful ass game to watch, but some of you guys, I can imagine, maybe watched it a second time. Juan, maybe you watched the all 22. I'll start with you, Juan. We didn't hear from you from the post game. So, how do you feel about the Miami Dolphins right now, 3-0 following that dub against the Bills, man?
Thanks, Kai, as he does not show up for work. No, I love it, bro. I think the Buffalo game kind of cemented to me what is like the overall picture for the team. Is like they're gonna win the ugly ones versus New England. They're gonna win the high scoring one versus Baltimore. They're gonna win the muck it out and have to have a defensive stop after a 19 play drive versus Buffalo. And overall, I think it just shows like a good team balance where it's like we're not too top heavy with the offense, we're not too top heavy with the defense. Like everybody's playing complementary football, and it kind of goes to show because ultimately, like yeah, like Josh Allen moved the ball a lot. Like they definitely had a plan to keep our offense off the field. And let's be real, they succeeded with that. Would they have 91 something plays, 93 plays? I think that's unheard of. It's like usually 60, 70 max. So they definitely did their thing. But Tua and yeah, I wasn't even going to put it all in the offense, but Tua really in general just was the one who kind of steered the ship and guided us really. Even after concussion, back, whatever you want to label it, that happened. You still saw him trying to battle back and kind of just keep it going because man, like the last two times that I'll say even the last three times that we played Buffalo, like we've been right there close with them. Now we're trying to see if we can make the plays to actually win games, which we obviously have. Javon Holland went nuts. There's just a lot of different moving pieces where it's like, damn, we got a really good chance to be great, and especially here with this short turnaround, like come Thursday, like we could really be 4-0.
Absolutely. It's just crazy, man. It's good vibes all around. Like you mentioned, Javon Holland, Tua out there. Obviously, Mike McDaniel. We've been playing this team tough. I mean, it was a close game towards the beginning last season, but when we were at home, we got smacked 35-0. But the one after that, we kept it close. 416, now that some time settled in, do you have anything to add to that or some things that you saw that we probably didn't talk about post game?
Not that we didn't talk about. I just think it's impressive that our offense was as effective and efficient as it was just because we only had like 35 offensive snaps or 39, whatever the number is. And that's with those, the end of the game, we're just trying to get out of the goal line scenario and with those types of things. So our offense to put up 3 touchdowns was very efficient, very effective. And like Juan was saying, we can win any type of game. We can win when it's defensive. We can win when it's offensive. We can have our offense carry us. We can have our defense carry us. And like you said, we can win the muck it up game. So I think it's a very impressive thing for this team to do. And just to speak on Tua, like he made 2 of like his best throws. I know Mike McDaniel called it the Craycraft throw the best throw of this year, but he's made 2 of his best throws in that game, even though he didn't throw the ball that often. Like the ball to Waddle is just beautiful. Like it could not be more perfect. And then he even proved us wrong. Like the Craycraft throw is just a laser. So he's just improving and shutting down all the narratives that people were talking about, which is what you love to see. And I just think it was a great game. And I think he's right on his way to being a franchise quarterback if he hasn't proved it already, because he has just kept on pushing, kept it pushing, and kept on going. Like no matter what has been thrown his way, he's kept it going. And a lot of people, I think, from the national side are saying, why are you now anointing him after the Buffalo game? Even not after the Ravens game. Like, why now? We went 13 for 18, like 183 yards, whatever it was, a touchdown, no picks. Like that's like statistically, that big of a game, but it's like how he did it, what he did, and what he had to go through to put those numbers up, right? And I think people always want to see is like, can he make the big throw in the big moment, and can he keep us in games against teams like the Bills? And I thought he proved that. So I'm fully ready to go here, and really excited for what's to come, and I'm really excited for tomorrow's game, obviously.
Yeah, and do you have anything to add to that, Alex? I know you'll be in attendance tomorrow, so hype us up a little bit because I know you'll be there. And is there anything you want to add to what these two fellas said?
I'm so fucking hyped up for tomorrow's game. I know a lot of people have been seeing it online, but obviously the last time these two guys went at it was that awesome college football game between LSU and Bama. But to go back to the Bills game, I was really hyped up after the stream. I had like no voice. I could not believe we had won that game. As Juan mentioned, they ran like 93 plays on offense, something ridiculous like that. Holding them to 17 points is something that I seriously doubted, especially after the way that the defense played against Baltimore. But we're just finding different ways to win, and I think that's honestly the biggest sign to me that Mike McDaniel's a really good coach. We're winning in different ways, not even necessarily winning the ways that Mike McDaniel wants to win, and we're still winning football games. And I think the team battles for him. I think Josh Boyer had a bounce back game. I was extremely disappointed with him after the Baltimore game. I think a lot of us were thinking something similar at certain aspects of the Buffalo game of like, why are we blitzing every single fucking time? We can't get a 4-man rush, to save our lives. But again, like Juan mentioned, Javon Holland balled out, major bounce back game. I was so impressed with the defense, and I don't think I gave them enough love after the game. I was talking a lot about Tua. I know that throw to Waddle was incredible, the way he manipulated the defense. And again, he's just been awesome this year so far, ever since really the second half of the Ravens game. And I'm excited for the game Thursday, but I just wanted to give some more love to the defense, man, because my God, I don't know how many teams in the NFL right now can take 93 plays against Buffalo and only give up 17 points. And I know people are going to nitpick. There's a couple throws where Josh Allen could have had a better one. He threw the one in the dirt. 6 turnover-worthy plays. I mean, it was real, man. The defense balled the hell out. And, I'm trying not to drink all of the Kool-Aid, but it's the only thing we're serving right now, man, because this is ridiculous. Like, this team is playing as good football as any other team in the National Football League. And I don't know about y'all, but did it just feel weird to see them at like number 1 of the power rankings all week? Like, I'm so used to scrolling to the bottom.
Oh no, it was like trauma. I was like thinking there was like missing numbers or something.
It was like glitch,
Exactly.
like what's going on?
I'm so used to just scrolling to the bottom of the article and seeing us at 22, 16, and just in the middle of the pack. So to see us at 1, it was fantastic. And the fact that we're like even arguing on Twitter with other people like, no, we're better than the Eagles. We should be number 1. If you don't have us number 1, that's a joke. It's a great time to be a Dolphins fan right now, and I hope they keep it rolling.
I just want to add to the defense really quick. Xavier Howard had a bounce back game too. Obviously, everyone's attributing it to Javon Holland, as they should, because he was a superstar in that game. He limited Josh Allen to only throw underneath. But just wanted to shout out Xavier Howard. I think it was 4 receptions for 40 yards is what he allowed in that game, and like that's exquisite, especially when you're playing against Stephon Diggs, who's been going for 150. It seems like every game. So shout out to Xavier Howard.
That
Just
definitely
to add on to that.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that point that 416 made, I think 2 of the things that don't get talked about enough is the Buffalo Bills' 2 longest drives in that game that they felt like an eternity. 19-play drive and 21-play drive. They got 3 points out of it. You're talking about 30 minutes of the game practically. There was like 27 and a half or something like that. That's almost half the game. They only got 3 points out of that. So shout out to the defense that bend but don't break.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was actually going to ask you, JMV, you have anything to add that you saw from the game that we probably didn't talk about, or anything in particular you want to touch on that you are maybe concerned about? Maybe the run game is one, or anything else?
Well, the run game is semi-concerning, but I think the biggest takeaway from this is the fact that never in any of our lives has somebody game planned against the Dolphins to keep the offense off the field. That's never been seen. And in our lifetime, that's never been seen. And that was their game plan. Dink and dunk, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, whatever it is, keep the chains moving and just keep the Dolphins off the field as long as possible. Yes, they were hurt in the secondary. I get it, but it's weird. It's not something that we're accustomed to seeing, at least.
And it feels good. It feels good as hell to have that, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to see a Miami Dolphins team 3-0, see a Miami Dolphins team number 1 in the power rankings, like everything is like clicking, and it's hard. We tell ourselves, yo, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but it's freaking hard, man. When you see like the way your team is winning these games, the way we are 3-0. I mean, teams that would just bust our ass. The Ravens would bust our ass. The Bills would bust our ass, and like these are statement wins, man, and we're yet to put together a complete game. I want to see the run game get going personally against Cincinnati. I think we got a good chance at it. Raheem Mostert is like, I believe in that man. I mean, I think he can be RB1. I
DJ
think he can
Reader's
be really
out too.
solid. There's opportunity there. There's opportunity there. So that's one thing I definitely want to see. But before we touch on this whole Cincinnati little preview we got going on, Tua. All right, Tua is the main topic. Everyone knows that by now. You should all know he's questionable. They're talking about, it being a back thing. Was it a concussion? Was it here or there? And it's just like that's the topic of conversation going all around Twitter and national media. So I want to hear your take on that because we didn't really dive into that on Sunday. So I want to get all you guys' perspectives. Like, do you believe it was a concussion or is it a back injury? Should he play? Should he not play? Should he take those extra days off since we don't play until, after this, we don't play until the following Sunday? We'll start with 416 on this.
All right, so I think he's going to play. I think all the guys who are questionable are going to play. Now, like, from when you see the videos of him walking in, obviously you see he was leading walkthrough from those videos, just by the way, screwed up that's like just being allowed, and it's still up there. Like, it's still just showing there, which is crazy. But you see him leading walkthrough, and it just looks like he probably will play. Should he play? I think that might be a little bit of a different story just because we've started off 3-0, and, like, I don't think it would be the worst decision of all time if you want to get him 2 weeks full of rest after suffering that big of an injury. Now, I'm not going to diagnose. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say what's concussion or a back injury. I'm just going to leave at what they're telling us. And obviously he looks fine, and he looked fine after coming back in. So I can't say for sure, like, oh, they're lying about a concussion. So I'm not going to diagnose anything, at least on my end. But I'll say this. I do think he's going to play, and I think it gives us the best chance to win. That's what you need to do. Obviously, we had a good start, and I even said myself, like, maybe it's not the worst thing that he doesn't play. But honestly, I think he will play. I think he wants to play, which is a big thing. I think he wants to shut down those rumors. And not just obviously play to shut down those rumors, but to play because he wants to play for his team, help this team win. And I think that's a big step. So shout out to Tua. And I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to play well. I think he wants to, get that game back against Joe Burrow and these Bengals, obviously dating back to Alabama versus LSU national championship game. And I think there's a lot of things to be said. So shout out to Tua. I think he's going to play, and I think he wants to shut up those rumors. So I'm on the kind of the train that everyone's going to play at least.
Alex?
I think Tua is going to play because, again, we've seen some of the stuff of, the walkthrough being leaked that he looks like he's going through it. He was walking with the team out, like saying some stuff to the Cincy fans about the Bama UC stuff. I don't know. I also don't think they throw him to the podium if he's not going to play. And to be honest with you, I'm also maybe just in deniability that I'll ever have to watch Teddy Bridgewater play football because that was an absolute disgrace what I watched. He literally – not only did he look bad, but he actually looked like, I don't know, he just looked like uninspired. And I feel like I was just like, this is terrible.
Skylar was getting dressed.
That's a nice way to say. That's a nice way to say he looked like shit.
Yeah. And I mean, like, what? We only saw him for 4 plays, and I think Tua's going to play. In terms of, like, the whole, did he get a concussion? Did he not? Right in the moment and after the game, I was like, that did look a little suspect. But at the end of the day, like, as much as people want to say, the NFL is terrible with this, it's like 2022, almost 2023. They can't necessarily, like, it's not the old days anymore where people were playing off of, like, crazy shit and, playing with concussions all the time. They take it very seriously. It's probably the number one injury they take more seriously than anybody. So I really do believe that Tua doesn't have a concussion, and I definitely think that it's a back problem. And again, Tua's got ankle soreness too, but I do think he's going to play. And I don't know. I think I saw that Waddle was questionable, and I don't know if y'all noticed how he popped that groin, I think, like at the beginning of the game. Like, it was early when he was on the sideline feeling it, and it didn't really slow him down. So I'm assuming he'll play too. Again, if we weren't playing the Bengals, if we were playing like the Jets right now, I would say there's a chance that maybe Mike McDaniel plays it cautious, doesn't play Armstead. But I think on national television against the Bengals, AFC champions, to make a statement, go 4-0, beating Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Bill Belichick. I think that's an opportunity that Mike McDaniel will want to seize. And, of course, there's the long week after that. So I think that's the other thing. Well, can you get through Thursday? You're going to have whatever it is, 10, 11 days to game plan for the Jets at home or on the road, but still.
No, yeah, I mean, it's true. It's a sticky situation. Like, do you want to, force the guys on a short week to play, but then you also know you have that long break after that because you're not playing until the following Sunday. JMV, your thoughts on the whole Tua concussion / back injury issue, whatever you may call it.
At first, when Tua went down and I saw him grab his head, like, kind of like wobbly. I thought it was a concussion myself, but I will choose to believe that it is not a concussion and it really is a back problem. I don't know if you guys noticed on the QB sneak, you saw Tua limp off out of that
Yep.
pile of
The
bodies.
Bills defender grabbed his leg too, didn't he? There was that
Nah,
picture.
yeah,
of
Von
Bills,
Miller grabbed his leg, and I think somebody fell on him. So you saw him limp off of that. So I think that's where the injury happened. So I'm gonna choose to believe that it really is a back injury, and of course he has a sore ankle as well. I do think he will play, as you guys both mentioned. He was leading the walkthroughs, and that's significant enough as it is. If he wasn't, it would be. I would say it would be Teddy Bridgewater out there. You saw him at the podium as well, talking about Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill is with Eli Apple 1-on-1, I will throw it to him. I don't think he will mention something like that if he wasn't, believing that he was going to play. So I think he's going to play, and I choose to believe that it is a back injury.
Yeah, I think he will play. I mean, if you're saying all these things and knowing that the type of guy Tua is, I mean, the fact that he came back from that injury shows a lot. So I think he definitely wants to play. It's probably up to the coaches. Juan, what's your take on the whole concussion / back injury issue? And do you think Tua is going to play tomorrow?
Yeah, Tua's for sure playing tomorrow. I don't think he's gonna have to go golfing today or tomorrow to prove it that he's healthy. So I think we're good there. Back or concussion? I'm gonna be real. I've never seen a back kind of like clench up like that to make you fall to your knees. That looked like one of those cringe, like, damn, that's a concussion, and he just doesn't even know where he is. Whatever hocus pocus magic they did with the independent doctor or whatever they did afterwards with that, I have no clue. I feel like we're definitely going to get a knock on the door any day now by the NFL for sure. Just because they seem to like have like a bug up their ass with us. So, and we're winning. So yeah, for sure. Probably sneak out like a little second round pick out of us just for that. And really like, I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of more so on the side of like I would actually sit Armstead for Thursday's game, just because it's been a toe the entire like for me the entire season's been a toe issue, and I would just give him literally what like almost like 2.5 weeks worth of rest. So that for me would be my only caveat. Like I would actually 100% sit Armstead and kind of just deal with the O line because not for nothing, but one thing I do want to highlight with McDaniel, it's like I feel like he's been able to make different position groups have like their best like moments, like Connor in game 1. Liam has been kind of like a little revelation, like even though he's still kind of ass. Hunt is like top down like our best offensive lineman. So like to me, it's like I'm just seeing McDaniel kind of make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So it's like, all right, like let's just bite the L, let Armstead get these 2.5 weeks, get him right for the Jets game, like you guys are saying. Because I don't know, like I think we have a real good shot to get into 4-0 just because the Bengals, in my opinion, are not in sync. They're not in rhythm. Whether that's the Super Bowl hangover or whatever it is, there's like a funk to them for sure. And we're kind of riding on all cylinders, and the only time I can remember ever going 3-0 into a primetime game was when we got absolutely destroyed in New Orleans. And I just don't see that happening this time around. I think we're going to go out there and we're going to put a decent showing on the field. I don't know what Tua's going to do, but at this point, I just need wins, bro. Like, just give me the dubs and we'll talk about it afterwards.
I think that's a very interesting perspective there. I didn't think of that. But, Armstead is a key piece to this whole season. I mean, we all know that, and he has been dealing with that same issue. So if you can spot him a little rest here with that short week, I think that is probably beneficial, especially because, like you said,
I would much rather personally sit him against the Jets.
Really?
Because you still got this long stretch of games, and the Jets' pass rush is not as well. I mean, the Bengals are banged up in terms of the pass rush. What worries me the most is Tua's back. Mm-hmm. If we sit Teron Armstead and then this offensive line doesn't have a good showing and Tua starts getting hit left and right, that's a problem. Yeah, I would much rather sit him against the Jets.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the short week, that's what worries me. The
it worries
short
me too
for that for a veteran like that. But I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, either way, you can That's a good
It
comment.
does. Jesse Davis PTSD.
For sure, man.
You couldn't beat out Jesse Davis. That's a red flag.
That is a red flag. That is a red flag. But I mean, we'll see how the Dolphins play. I mean, nonetheless, like we were talking about, we do play the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow night, Thursday night, prime time. They got the uniforms already out. They're all white for Cincinnati, and I believe all aqua for the Miami Dolphins, which is gonna look pretty damn cool on TV. But hey, we don't care about the uniforms. I'm pretty sure everybody in here just
As long
wants
as
a
it's not
damn
the
win.
creamsicles.
Oh no, don't.
Those
oh,
creamsicles give me PTSD.
Isn't that's the one we wore last time we played Cincy, didn't we?
I want to say yeah.
Bro, I remember
It might have been
Xavier.
Jacksonville. I don't even know.
I remember Xavier.
No,
and
wait since last year, so it wasn't the last time.
It was like an Adam Gase year, if I don't remember.
Yeah, it was an Adam Gase year.
Yeah. But speaking about the Bengals, man, they obviously started off 0-2. Luckily for them, they had a nice, win against the damn Jets. So they got lucked out. They got bailed out. They won 27-12. Now, Joe Burrow had 275 yards, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Mixon went down with an injury. He's questionable for tomorrow's game. So
he's
that's
asked anyways.
He's been letting me down in fantasy, and for a couple straight years. I don't know why I keep going back to him. Jamar Chase, though, he had 29 yards only, so best believe he's going to be on a mission. But luckily for us, we got Xavier Howard. Now, guys, so Burrow had a nice bounce-back game, but the team, like you said, they can still get got even though they're at home. What are the keys to victory? That's what I want to know. How can we beat the Bengals tomorrow? What's the first thing? If you guys can all give me different answers, we'll start with JMV first on this one.
Protect the football, most importantly. That's in a primetime game on a short week. It's going to be messy on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of guys banged up on both sides of the ball as well. I think protecting the football is going to be big, and establishing a run game is going to be very important for this game too, just to take pressure off of Tua himself, so he doesn't have to throw the ball 30, 40, 45 times like he's had to do against the Ravens. And against the Patriots, I think he hit over 30 as well. I would like to keep his attempts in the 20 to 25 range if possible. That's only going to happen if we're running the ball efficiently the entire game.
That's a wild comment.
very, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Make sure you like the video, please. And we appreciate the support as always. Definitely on that. And by the way, JMV, solid point with the run game. That absolutely definitely needs to get established, especially Tua dealing with this potential injury. I mean, we all know we can't have that man go down. We have a nice little break after tomorrow's game. Alex, keys to victory besides the run game.
Abuse the man coverage that the Bengals are going to try and play because they're near the top of the league in man coverage this year. We know what Tyreek and Waddle like to do against man coverage. And I'm under the personal belief that Zach Taylor's a fraud and he does what his players want him to do, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You can be a player's coach, but I think the Bengals defensive players did a very good job, especially their cornerbacks, in man coverage at the end of last season. I thought they played their asses off, got hot for 3-4 weeks, went to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost to the Rams, but they had a pretty good showing against the Rams too. And this year, it just hasn't been the same, man. Losing to the Steelers, losing to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. They beat the Jets, but again, I don't know why people are kind of refalling in love with the Bengals right now. I look at the line and we're 4-point underdogs. I'm a gambling guy. I just look at it and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I understand how good Joe Burrow is. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. They have the same playbook as last year, man. And defenses know it. They're jumping the routes. They're timing the throws that Joe Burrow is trying to do. And people are not surprised by Jamar Chase anymore, right? They know who Jamar Chase is, and they've locked in on him as their number one receiver. But the number one thing, to go back to the beginning, I don't want to take anybody else's answer, is I think the Bengals are going to run a lot of man coverage. And I think, honestly, like, I hate to put it on Tua, but he's going to have to air that thing out again, take advantage of Tyreek Hill. Hopefully he's guarded by Eli Apple. I know he wants that matchup. And I think Jalen Waddle could have another big game too. So that's what I'm looking at.
Eli Apple better not run from no smoke. I mean, you literally got called out by Tyreek Hill. Like, if you just duck from that, I mean, you're soft. I mean, we already know he's soft,
you, boy.
Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta, if you're in the NFL and you hear somebody calling you out, you better go man to man against Tyreek Hill, and that's gonna be a treat to watch. 416. What are your keys to victory?
The UDFA from Texas A&M Commerce, Kader Kohu needs to step up. Seems like he's taking over that role. And, man, we know how good their second and third receivers are over there in Cincinnati, man. You have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. Obviously, Waddle's better than T. Higgins, but they still have two very capable receivers over there. So I think it's going to be on Nick Needham, Kader Kohou, Keon Cross, and whoever's not Xavier Howard, because obviously we trust Xavier Howard to kind of cover those guys, because that's going to be a huge part of that game. Just because, again, I don't want to expect the offense to do too much, obviously, with the injuries that we're dealing with on that side of the ball, specifically to us. So I think it's going to be really important for these corners to play well, kind of limit this Bengals offense, and obviously the entire defense. And there's a lot of places where this defense needs to respond, but I think that's the most important place, where if they can just guard up, clamp up, we'll be straight, and we can, win this game with some ease, because the only way the Bengals stay in this, at least for me, is if they air the ball out and if they stay in the game that way. So I think it's important for our secondary corners, that's not Xavier Howard, to kind of stay in the game, lock up, because I will say Tyler Boyd is like probably the best third receiver in the NFL, because he's fantastic. So it's gonna be a really tough challenge for those guys. So hopefully they can step up to the plate.
Juan, what are your keys to victory for us to win tomorrow and start off 4-0? Or is there anything that's concerning to you? Is there anything that you're worried about? If this happens, I mean, the Dolphins are screwed.
No, I'm not really concerned about that. I mean, other than an injury, but I'm not going to put energy into that.
Yeah, no.
To me, it's fairly simple. It's whichever of the duo of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek and Chase and Higgins is, whichever one of them is producing more, that's who's going to win the game to me. Those two are kind of like the driving force for each of the offenses. And the defense, to me, because of the injuries with Byron that we have, are kind of fairly even. So, I mean, it's really just going to be Burrow versus Tua. And that to me is pretty exciting because it's a narrative matchup. And I think I've been fairly on record that this year is full of them. And Tua's been knocking out the park 3 straight games where he's literally just cleared all narratives that we've had of him. The injury-prone one is still to be decided, but look, he's still playing through it. He played through it on versus Buffalo, and if he gets to play again, we can't really say that against him too now. So to me, it's just a continuation of that, and just seeing, the continued growth. I will say that I kind of hope that the run game eventually does get going, just because this is one of those games where you would want to ideally give the rock to Chase, to Mostert, to a couple of guys to get anything going out of it, because it's been slow for the run game.
Let me just add on to this, since nobody touched on this point. We need to pressure Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow gets very uncomfortable when he's being blitzed at, or when there's consistent pressure in his face, and he will make mistakes. On the flip side, Tua was very comfortable with the blitz, and he has some of the best numbers in the NFL, not to be a homer or anything, but it is a fact. So hopefully Jalen Phillips, who's been very disappointing this year, can step it up this week.
You know what? That's actually something I do want to get into, which is a perfect segue for this. Right before, we are going to go into our predictions, of course, in a little bit. But I want to actually, now that we're 3-0, we're feeling good, but we know we haven't played yet our best game, or the game that we're capable of playing. So we can nitpick a little bit. It's fun. It's fun to nitpick when you're 3-0. I'll tell you that much. So I got your answer, JMV. I want to know, which of you guys, like, who is your player that you wish you saw more of this year, that you want to see more of so far, like you haven't seen enough and you're a little bit disappointed in? Or, for example, Jalen Phillips, we know he can play better. We expect more of him. So let me hear your guys' thoughts on that. Let's go with Alex to start this one off.
For me, to be honest with you, like, Jalen Phillips is the one that sticks out, obviously, because I really thought this man was going to be on pace for like 12, maybe even pushing like 15 sacks. Like, I was excited. I don't want to say he's looked absolutely terrible. I think, Juan, you had some tweets about this, and Christian Wilkins. Like, their motors are very high. They don't stop. And I know Jalen Phillips gets really pissed at himself when he doesn't make a play, but like, I don't know. I really wanted him to step up against Josh Allen. I looked at him as one of the guys who can physically match up with Josh Allen, and I kind of saw some of the same. I know Josh Allen's very good, but 4th and 2, having him in the backfield, escaping, finding a way. And I know that's what great quarterbacks do, but it would just be every once in a while, it'd be really nice to see it. I love Melvin Ingram. I think he's awesome, has been maybe the X factor of this defense. You could not have told me at the beginning of the year that he was going to be far and away outperforming Jalen Phillips. But to bring it back, it's really just the run game in general. Seeing us still in the 30s just kind of bothers me. I don't necessarily know what the issue is. I just don't think the Dolphins honestly quite run the ball that much. I think they just have really good receivers. and that's the biggest reason why. But someone who I wanted to see more of, I know Chase Edmonds had 2 touchdowns in the previous game. I thought I'd see a lot more of him in the passing game and just other creative ways. It's super early in the season, and he obviously got smoked over the middle in the play, but he dropped a touchdown in the passing game. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I thought Chase would do a little bit more. And just in general, like Cedric Wilson, what's the vibe with him? Like, I know he's hurt. He's got a rib injury. Yeah. I know for sure. And, Craycraft has stepped up, just got signed to the 53 today. But I don't know. It's been very much like it's Tyreek or Waddle that we kind of throw the ball to, I feel like. And it's pretty – not that that's a bad thing at all.
Who am I supposed to say is disappointed now? I feel like Alex just took everyone.
I want to just add on to Alex's what his statement. I think the nature of the game of what we've been playing from behind is a factor on why we're not running the ball so much as well. I think as the season progresses, we'll get more consistency or balance, I should say, from both the passing and running game.
Well, that's what I was going to say, right? I think the whole run game has definitely been disappointing to everyone. That includes Mike McDaniel, the offensive line, the running backs. I think it's everyone included. I do think, again, new scheme, new system. It's a very weird system as well. Like, not a lot of people run the wide zone, and I know it's like a complex system to learn. So I think it's just going to keep getting better as we go. Obviously, and then when we're playing worse teams when we should be up, we'll get the running game going there too. So I think it's kind of everything involved because I think Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert are very talented, and they do fit the system, and that's why I think Mike McDaniel brought those 2 guys in, obviously. So I think it's just something where it's kind of everything put together has been struggling a little bit. Game script, personnel, the offensive line struggling a little bit, and just not being able to get the amount of attempts that you would want. So I think a lot of stuff is feeding into that. But again, it is still unfortunate to think that one of the things I was excited about when we brought in Mike McDaniel was our running game. But obviously, I can't be too mad when you bring in Tyreek Hill. Obviously, you're going to want to throw that rock around.
Juan, what about you? Are you going with your boy Noah? Can't do that.
I was gonna.
Well, how he hasn't played a snap.
No. I'm gonna go actually, and I know I'm gonna piss off JMV, but I'm gonna go Mike Gesicki. I feel
I agree with you
because I feel like I'm more disappointed in how they're using him than what he's putting out on the field. Mike McDaniels is the genius that he is. He had the vision to put Connor in at center. I feel like right now we're like, circle in a square peg or square in a circle peg, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
We're trying to force something that's not there. And to me, it's like, just take advantage, bro. Like that pass to Gesicki in Baltimore for the touchdown, like that's 1-on-1. Like you don't have anybody else on your team that's making that play. And to me, it's like, just take advantage of it. Use that guy for what he is. Like, yeah, he's not a tight end. Yeah, he's not going to be sitting here run blocking. But just use them, man. Like, you have Tyreek, you have Waddle. Like, you have a blueprint already in place where you can literally just go to Kansas City for the last 3 years and, hey, what do they do successful to get Kelsey open? And I feel like more or less he has that same skill set to get open. And I just don't think he's going to be able to break tackles like Kelsey. I'll just make that perfectly clear. But there's still a lot of meat on that bone. And, hopefully by the time the year ends, we're going to have a completely different, view of Gesicki, because I know some in our network would like to send them off for used socks, but I would like to keep them for at least a 2nd round pick.
Can I just fight back on that a little bit? Because I feel like we used them when we could, just because in the Ravens game we were down, so we need to use them. But against a team like the Bills with their pass rush, I think we wanted to get Durham Smythe in there a little bit more to help with the blocking. So I think it's going to be very matchup dependent. I think Mike McDaniel talks about that a lot too. So
did anybody see him at the end of the game? Absolutely get destroyed on the block, where they stopped Raheem Mostert and at our one.
Behind the line of scrimmage, lost of 2 yards. That put us on the inch line.
Yeah.
Caused the butt fumble.
He got destroyed. Immediately off the line, he got destroyed.
I remember that perfectly. I was like, oh, my God.
I saw that. Why is Mike blocking, bro? Just put another offensive lineman in there. You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed at just how they're using him, because, I mean, the dude is a talented ass player. I mean, we've seen the catches that he was able to produce throughout his, first couple of years in his career. And I just feel like the opportunity, like, he's not being used, one target.
I ask you, though,
where
should they put him? Because the receivers are supposed to do yak. He's not good at that. And the tight ends are supposed to block. That's the design.
Right.
So we paying Cedric Wilson how much money and Mike Gesicki how much money to just sit on the bench?
No, that's true, because we are using Sherfield.
Well, Cedric is hurt, to be fair. He has the rib injuries, but I agree. I would like to use them some more. But even the way our offense is, our receivers got to block. Like I've seen Jalen Waddle have to block to get Tyreek Hill open, vice versa, and Craycraft and Sherfield and Mike Gesicki can't even block a receiver. If we're being completely honest.
To Jay's point, you were talking about Sherfield. I think he's one of the best. He might be our best blocking wide receiver. Like I think that's.
Oh
one
yeah,
of the
Yeah,
best
that's
for
why
sure,
he gets some
for sure.
snaps. Like there's so many things. Like Quan, you watch all 22. You see him getting those inside blocks. They kind of use him like Cooper Kupp. He gets those blocks on the interior. Like it's great. Like I think that's why he's kind of earned that wide receiver 3 spot. I'm not comparing him to Cooper Kupp, obviously, but I'm just saying that's why he finds himself on the field a lot more. So I think scheme fit matters, especially. And I think clearly it matters a lot to Mike McDaniel. So I think right now it's kind of tough to get Mike Gesicki involved. But I get what you guys are saying because even with saying all that, we all know how talented Mike Gesicki is as a receiver, right? So I can't kind of take that away from him. I'll never take that away from him. He's like one of the best contested ball guys in the league. So.
That's the thing I'm saying. I mean, because of that, I mean, it's just they have to find a way. I mean, you have one target week 1, then you follow up with a touchdown, nice game in Baltimore, and then you have one target week 3. I mean, this is like I'm not saying to make him a heavy part of your offense, but I mean, we gotta give me more than one target. I'm sure there has to be some spots here and there where they can figure something out, especially when you're paying them that money. I mean, you franchise them. It's got to be a win.
I love Ingold, but like first
Same.
play
Yo,
to
that drop was
Ingold,
horrible.
Bro, that was insane.
and Mike McDaniel
That was
was
a
trying
dog.
to hit that multiple times because the first play, I think versus the Pats, was the exact same thing on a wheel route to him. So he's
That was
trying
a
to
dog.
feature him. So that's my point. Like you feature Ingold, cool. Like let's feature some other guys like Tyreek, Waddle. We got these boys going. Let's get Gesicki going. Let's get Cedric going. Let's get Craycraft going. Like outside of the red zone. Like eventually, like Easy's gonna come in. Like let's get him going. Like let's have a plan in place because eventually teams are gonna adjust. Teams are gonna just sit back and cover 2 and say, hey, you know what, Tyreek and Waddle, like you guys aren't beating us. Like anybody else, sure. Because I think I saw a stat today. Like yeah, like Tyreek, Waddle, they have all the receiving yards. I think the third closest receiver has like 54 total receiving yards. So there's a wide gap to where you ideally want to give teams some balance to say, okay, that this is the third guy in case, this is the fourth guy in case. But right now it's just like a muck of like whoever wants to get like anything can do it.
Yeah, no,
Not to interject with a new topic, but I just saw this on Twitter. I'm intrigued for it tomorrow. I don't know if we don't have to like go around and talk about it, but Amazon just like put out that Fitzpatrick's doing a sit down like interview with Tua before the game.
Ooh.
So usually I wouldn't care that
I think he's calling the game too, right?
Yeah, well, he does the halftime stuff for Amazon with Richard Sherman, and I think Tony Gonzalez is on there too. But he's doing like the one-on-one interview, and normally I wouldn't care, but obviously Fitzpatrick had those comments a few weeks ago.
Let's drop some knowledge for us real quick.
And Tua's gotten a little brave too, so I feel like he might slip something that a little soundbite for sure.
You might say some shit. Nah, he's getting more confident. You see him today saying we beat y'all to those fans. Obviously, he was talking a little bit more in the press conference saying, "Hey, if Tyreek's lined up with Eli Apple 1-on-1, he's getting the ball." Like I like this
Tua. To be fair, everybody who lines up 1-on-1 with Tyreek Hill would get a shot. Like it's just like that's just easy math. Like
No, but it's a nice quote for the press.
Yeah.
No, definitely. You see a little bit more of that swagger from Tua, and that's one thing that he didn't have last year, or at least he didn't show it last year. But you can argue, was it because of the coach or this and that? We're not gonna get there. All right. Well, hey, right now we're almost towards the tail end of the stream, and we got to talk about predictions, man. So let's go with score predictions. Let's go with why we win, a little bit of that, and let me know who is the best player on the field. Like, all right, for example, I got the Dolphins winning tomorrow 24-17. I think it's a little bit of a close game, but I think Tyreek Hill balls the hell out. I think that's going to be the thing. I mean, he had 2 catches for 33 yards, so I think he's going to get going and definitely try to just pick apart Eli Apple. So I think Tyreek is going to be the main reason why we win this game. I think he's going to get featured a lot because Tua owes him, and he definitely wants the ball. So I think that's what's going to happen. So I got 24-17 Dolphins. Let's go with Juan. You start us off.
I'm gonna go Dolphins for sure. I'm gonna go 27-13. I definitely think that Burrow and the gang are not in sync. I think this short week is gonna catch them off guard. I think they're gonna get smacked with Tyreek and Waddle. And I definitely think that Waddle would go for 150 and at least a touchdown. To me, it's just I think I said it earlier, just another narrative matchup. It's, Tua being the 5th overall pick, Burrow being the 1st overall pick. It's Jamar being the 5th overall pick, Waddle being the 6th overall pick. And, all these boys are competitive. Like, you've seen them on a couple podcasts together. So, that they know what's going on. That they're going to talk shit. And ultimately, like, it's going to be a great game. But I do think that we're going to dominate. And I would not be shocked to this be the first game where we actually start to run the ball and maybe get close to like 150, 160 rushing yards.
That would be freaking sweet, man. All right, 416J.
Yeah, perfect. Because I'm going to be kind of similar to Juan. I just think they might put up a couple more points on the secondary. I'm going to go 27-17, obviously, for your Miami Dolphins. All the same points that he made. I just think that we should be able to go out there. I'll be honest. It would be like, for me, it would be a blowout if we didn't have these injuries. Like, it would be a blowout. Like, my score prediction would be like 31-10, maybe, if we didn't have injuries going into this game. I just think there is a clear imbalance of talent on these two teams. Obviously, the way it's going right now and the momentum that we have. Obviously, they're not looking like they have like the best culture in their locker room right now, but obviously there's some injuries, short week. So I'm going to go 27-17 for Miami.
Nice. Now, liking the vibe. Kai says 24-21 Dolphins. Shout out to Kai in the building on the chat board. Shout out to you, my boy. Basement. Oh, come on, man. Come on, Royal. Why?
Hey, it works, man. It works,
boy.
It works every time he calls it.
Keep doing it, bro. Every time you say we're gonna lose, I'm gonna throw another $100 that we're gonna win. Every single time.
That's what I was gonna say. Every time he says we lose, we win.
I was so excited to read that comment. I really thought it was gonna say a Dolphins win. Oh man, shout out to Royal though. Shout out to Royal. Alex, who wins tomorrow? Scoring prediction. You'll be at the game. Let us know a little bit extra here. And also, the Dolphins obviously are not the favorite. They're getting +4. Let us know which way you're leaning on that as well.
So I usually am the guy to tell you I am into sports gambling, but I'll tell you to bet responsibly, just like all the ads will. I will be betting irresponsibly tomorrow, 100%. I'm going to be there. I'm going 2 hours early. I'm bringing like this giant thing of Tua that I have. I'm bringing all like a football. I'm going to try to get signed gear, and I'm going to tell Mike McDaniel he's my hero if I see him. But I think we're going to win 31-21, and here's why. I think I'm kind of with you, Juan. I don't think the Bengals are very good. I really don't. I see a team that caught fire last year, kind of caught, lightning in a bottle, and I think they paid their coach, and I think Zach Taylor is going to get outcoached by Mike McDaniel, to be completely honest with you. And I think this could be a game where the Bengals are actually in trouble because the Dolphins might be able to rush 4 and actually bring some pressure. I'm expecting, Boyer to have the blitz heavy thing and everything again. But I do think this is an opportunity for the for the Dolphins defensive line to get some pass rush. DJ Reader is out for the Bengals. That's pretty big. I could see us running the ball. But I'm going back to Jalen Waddle, and I keep coming back to him because everybody knows how good Tyreek Hill is, and you're going to double him damn near every play, every single game. I don't know, and I want to say that eventually teams are going to adjust, and maybe they will just drop back into like cover 2 or something like that. But it's really hard to stop Jalen Waddle when you can't put your best corner on him in like any point during the game. You just can't do it because Tyreek is out there. And again, I keep looking at Jalen Waddle, and it will not surprise me if he's like top 5 in yards this year. Like I just can't. I can't. I don't know. I don't know how there's going to be someone to to stop it, especially these corners. Eli Apple, Awuzie has been pretty good, but not great. Tell Boyer to blitz with Jones. Hey man. I think, Juan, you had a tweet about this too. Brandon Jones moving downhill. I mean, not that many dudes move faster. I think Javon Holland had the quickest timed sack, right? I get the strip sack on Allen. I mean, we got creative ways, and shout out Boyer for bouncing back. But if you're a gambling person, +170 on the money line for the Dolphins, a 3-0 team, beating 3 very impressive teams. And again, as much shit as I want to give the Patriots, they're competitive in every game. They were competitive-ish against Baltimore. They beat Pittsburgh. And then, you beat the Ravens, which everyone thinks Lamar is going to win MVP, deservingly so. You beat the Buffalo Bills, who, despite us beating them, are still the number 1 team in the league and have already won the Super Bowl, according to everybody still. But, hey, whatever. Hopefully the sun will be out when we play them in the playoffs because, that's their weakness. That's their kryptonite. Breaking news, Bills fans. The sun is hot. It's hot, and it exists. And it's going to be out there. I know they played 101 in L.A., and nobody said shit, but it's okay. I really do think, though, 31-21, I think we handle them. And I think, I think Tua's going to ball out again. And I really don't want to like keep hyping him up. But like Juan said, this is a narrative game again. And you come out there and you beat Burrow, you beat Allen, you beat Lamar, and you made big time throws in all 3. Like, Tua's not an idiot. He sees it too. He's moving with confidence. He's moving with swagger. All these dudes are talking about it post-scream. I have the Raheem Mostert with the receipts tweet. Tyreek Hill mic'd up saying I want no more excuses after this game. And then Tyreek tweeting the clip of him supporting Tua, the podcast clip from months ago. They know how much this is. Why is Royal? This was Aaron Rodgers actually the other day. I don't know if you saw this, Royal, but Aaron Rodgers, I'll go on a rant here because I'm so sick of the Packers Dolphins talk. Royal, I don't know if you watched your second half of the Green Bay Packers. Why is Aaron Rodgers running handoff simulator after back-to-back MVPs? Handoff simulator to Aaron Jones, to A.J. Dillon. What are we talking about here? We'll see you Christmas. I'm not even worried. That's what's crazy is that I'm not even worried about that game anymore. Before I was I don't know. But now I know that we got a great coach, great defense. What is Aaron Rodgers going to do against the blitz? Who's playing right tackle? Billy Turner? We'll see him again.
Perky's, what is he going to do?
My God. Alan Lazard against Xavier Howard. Thank you. That's all I can say. Anyway,
maybe Noah will play a little bit of that game too. Give Noah a shot.
Just a huge
Why not?
Rant, but give me the Dolphins 31-21. I think we handle business. I think our defense could give up a lot of points at the beginning of the game. I think the first half is going to be an electric fucking game. What Amazon's been waiting for. But I think in the second half, as we've done each second half, we outscore our opponents. That's the sign of a well-coached team that makes adjustments at the half. I think that's when Mike McDaniel kind of takes over, outcoaches Zach Taylor. Again, wouldn't surprise me if it's tied 10-10, 14-14 at halftime. And then I think in the second half, Mike McDaniel takes over and Jalen Waddle makes the play.
Royal is wrong. Kai. Man, I love the positivity from all you guys for sure. For sure. I love it. I mean, how could you not? Listen, anybody watching this that thinks we're always picking the Dolphins to win this game, that's normally not how it goes. But right now, from what you are seeing, I mean, this team is basically giving us no choice but to lean in their direction. I mean, how the hell can you go against the damn Dolphins at this point? So it's not, full on homer things here. So just want to give you guys let you guys know that it ain't always like that. Listen, I can't wait for that Christmas. Yo, Royals hilarious. I can't wait for that Christmas matchup against the Green Bay Packers because I know this stream is going to get popping between you two. JMV, final one to go. Are you going to roll with all of us and pick the Dolphins?
Oh, you know it. 34-21 Miami Dolphins. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. I think we're going to be leading at the half. I don't think we've played our best football, complementary on all three sides throughout an entire course of the game. I think this is going to be the closest we'll see as to the team from all facets of the team of the game playing well, from offense to run game to defense to special teams entirely. And I don't think it's going to be close. 34-21. I got the Miami Dolphins. I know we got a couple of injuries in there. We'll see if Cedric Wilson finally plays. We haven't seen much from him this year.
Royals the man.
As long as he's not on Noah, it's okay.
So when does
the Noah
agenda run out? When does the Noah agenda run out?
I don't think that man's touching the field this year. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Listen, if people won with the Tua agenda, I'm gonna win with the Noah agenda. I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, you got to respect.
When is that? When do the wheels fall off? Have they not fallen off already? He's not playing games.
No, he's still on the team. He's still signed.
Technically, we like to give players 3 years.
I get it. It's like when he's off the team. I get it.
Technically, we like to give players 3 years. Noah has not finished his third year, so
no,
the wheels are hanging on by a thread right now.
Are you gonna be rocking a Toronto Argonauts jersey when he's in the CFL? I don't know.
I'm gonna get it hanged framed for sure. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
I'm a personally buy Noah's CFL jersey for Juan. I'm gonna ship it to him for his birthday as a birthday gift.
That's love.
Hey, and with the topic of health, I want to give a special shout out to Simple Health Advisors, a primary sponsor of the Basement Network. Insurance doesn't need to be complicated. Email them or give them a call today. Tell them the Basement sent you. We do this every show. Big shout out to them.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to them.
Hit up that email, baby.
Yep. Hit up JPO at simplehealthadvisors.com or his phone number at 321-345-7738 and let him know the Basement sent you. All right. So we got all our predictions. We're all riding on the Miami Dolphins side. Do you guys have anything last that you want to share? Maybe Juan. I mean, Juan maybe has something to say. He's always the man with the hot takes. Anything else to share before we head out?
Tua.